Really happy to welcome on to the Front Stretch podcast this week, Mr. Tickle's dad. Who cares that he won at Las Vegas? Who cares that he's with Kaulig Racing having fun? I just want to know about Mr. Tickles. How did he react to the win?
Anytime I win, Tickles just wants treats. That's all he cares about.
Yeah,
So it's
that's fair.
yeah, it's funny. We've had my wife and I have had Mr. Tickles now for nearly 6 years, which is crazy to think about. But it's
Yeah.
funny how everything is taken off about Tickles because I'll be at the racetrack and it's the same thing. It's like, hey, Tickles' dad, I want an autograph. Where's Tickles? I'm like, he's a cat. He's he's at home. He's hiding. But yeah, it's all about Tickles.
I mean, can you blame the people though? I mean, he's the star of the show. You know this.
I completely agree. And then we added Xena, the French Bulldog, last year, and between the two of them, the
Yeah.
house is just a ruckus. I mean, really, honestly, I was got home yesterday, and it's like I had the front door open, nice day, and Xena just starts howling, and I thought somebody was at the front door, somebody was trying to come in, and I look, and it's him and Tickles having a stare off. It's Xena and Tickles having a stare off. So she's staring
Uh-oh.
at Tickles. He's staring back, and it was game on.
They get along well though, besides those stare-offs every now and then.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a good time, and it's good entertainment. It's never boring at my house.
That's good. I don't even think I said your name. It's AJ Allmendinger, obviously. I mean, people know when you hear Tickles, it's AJ. So thanks for joining me, AJ. I appreciate that. That's enough Tickles talk for now, but I'm sure we'll get back to it at some point because the people want what the people want, especially me. Let's talk about Saturday specifically at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You win the race, but I'm curious, at what point in the event did you know that you had a race winning piece? Was it early on? Was it when you took the lead initially? When did things click for you and you said, all right, we may have a good shot here?
Yeah, it was the first stage. The car was really quick, but it was a little bit free. I think I had to start 10th, so we got up to about fourth. But late in that first stage, my car was quite good. But I knew in general at Kaulig Racing we had some really fast cars because at that point Justin Haley had run down the 22 and was all over him. Just couldn't get around him to win the first stage, but had run
Mm-hmm.
him down quick. And I thought, all right, we got some good cars here, and just tightened it up just a little bit at the start of that second stage. And like the 18 and the 19 were pretty good early in the runs, but I could tell my car was really good later in the run as the tires start to get old. So I knew at that point we had a fast race car and we had to execute. The first few races it hadn't worked out. The Daytona road course, we had a really fast car and had the incident with the 22. Last week at Homestead, I thought our car was by far way better than we had been the previous year.
Yeah.
And I was good for 30 lap runs, but my problem at Homestead, I'm just not great at running the fence. So I knew if it was a long run, we'd struggle a little bit, but went forward on the restart because that's what Matt Collig tells me to do, and didn't work out. But we've had fast cars at Kaulig Racing every week, and it was really nice to execute and get the win there at Vegas. But more importantly, I don't like saying we're dominated because it was a great battle with
Yeah.
me and Daniel Hemrick and Brandon Jones, but I really felt like our car had a lot of speed compared to the most of the cars out there. So was happy to see that.
And your teammate and de facto son, Justin Haley, like you said, I heard you somewhere else this week that you were kind of not following his pursuit of the lead, but you got really excited when he was going up to take the lead, maybe even more so when you took the lead yourself. That's the fatherly love that we really appreciate in the Xfinity series this year.
Well, I love Justin. He's got so much raw talent,
Mm-hmm.
and I see a lot of myself in him. Uh, he's young. He's getting to do this a little bit younger in the NASCAR side of it than I was. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't come in the sport till about 25, so I mean, he's been around. I mean, since he was like 12, I think it seemed like he's only about 16 years old
He's a
now. It looks
baby.
like
Yeah.
on it, but no. So it's anytime Justin's running well, I get pumped up about it, and really because I love the progress that we're having with our race cars. And when Justin went up there to run down the 22, I was like, hey, I was like, hell yeah, inside the race car, like this. This is awesome to see. And unfortunately, I think he had a spin and kind of put him really on the back foot the rest of the race. But
Yeah.
we have fast race cars, and heck, Jeb's got 4 top 10s.
Yeah.
Fought hard to get back in the top 10. Probably could have had another top 5, which he's had every race this season. So to have all three cars in the top 10 and Jeb, like I said, be top 10 every race, it shows that we have the speed.
Yeah, quiet top tens for Jeb Burton too. It's like you don't really hear from him much of the race, and then when check flag flies, oh, another top 10 for Jeb. So good to see him and Kaulig Racing in general having fun and running up front. But the former is what I want to touch on because you've been very open and adamant that fun is the main thing for you this year, specifically with this team in this series with this car, right? I mean, you would not have come back full time in Xfinity in any series in that capacity if you weren't going to have fun doing it. And I think you and Chris Rice still take pictures before every race on the grid to make sure you guys are smiling and having a good time because as cliche as it is, like Chris has said it, you've said it, if you're not having fun, what's the point? And winning races is fun, don't get me wrong, but it's the day-to-day that goes on in between at Kaulig Racing that I'm sure you can attest to. That's what makes this fun for you. Is that right?
Yeah, and I mean it's I use the word fun because I still put so much pressure on myself before a race, and at times I'm almost ill before I get in the car. But it comes down to the fact that to those moments of getting in the car and the moment as soon as I get out of the race car, like Chris Rice is always there to put his arm around me, good or bad. And it really it makes it so much easier because you take even the Daytona road course in Homestead, for example. I mean, just bitter disappointment, gutted, and he puts his arm around me like, don't worry about it, we're fine. Matt Kaulig, especially like the restart at Homestead, restarting fifth. I've try to make it 3 or 4 wide and got clipped and got spun, and I was so disappointed. And Matt like laughed. He's like, man, that's what you're here for. Go for the win. Like, don't you just restart and you finish fifth because you didn't try to make a move. Like, don't do that. So it's things like that where, good or bad, like it makes it enjoyable because we're all in it together. And I know I have an owner that says, just go give me trophies. Like, give everything you got. That's all I want.
Trophy hunt, maybe.
Chris Rice, the team president, that's like just get it, man. But enjoy it. Like, and we're all here to enjoy it together. And it's all the men and women at Kaulig Racing. You feed off that energy from the top, and it just, continually through everybody in the race shop. So sure, when you run well and of course winning always helps, but it's those moments away from it on the plane when we're just giving each other hell, cracking up, here at the shop, like everything about it. It's just so enjoyable. And that's why I wanted to really do it full time because I had fun the last couple of years, but it was like, man, I missed the weekends. I'm not there or I'm not at the shop. So when they gave me the chance, I had to take it.
Yeah. Opportunity you couldn't really turn down. And I think a lot of people enjoy watching you win races because of the raw emotion that you show, whether it's in victory lane or on the front stretch. I mean, last year, Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin in the Cup Series are winning every single week. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're grateful for it, but it gets a little bit monotonous at times to see the same person win, climb out, thank their guys, do the whole song and dance. You've won multiple times. We understand that, but it seems like every time you win, you get a little bit more jacked, which I'm here for. I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. Like, we love to see that out of you, but that's just your personality. Like, and it goes back to the whole foundation of Kaulig. If Chris Rice wasn't in your ear all race, if Matt Kaulig wasn't on the radio telling you to go for it, your whole team is about fun, and that's what makes this all rewarding for you because to bring back the wins and to bring back the good results and to see the hard work for your key phrase, the men and women at Kaulig Racing. We got to put that on a t-shirt. To see that all pay off, that's what makes this so rewarding for you, and that's why I think, you see the emotion out of you after the race and the triumph because you've gone through a lot of tribulation to get to that triumph, and you're enjoying it now, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, you just, as I said in the post-race interview, I never know when it's my last one. So I'm grateful for all of them. I hope we have a whole lot more, and I think we can.
I think you do.
But like it's I'm not Kyle Busch. I don't have 300 wins in NASCAR or whatever he's up to now, right?
Yeah.
And even if I did, I know, and every team does this. So, but I know how hard specifically the men and women here work at this race team.
You see it
from top to bottom. And you could say thank you and be grateful. And I try to always show my appreciation for everything that I'm given here at Kaulig Racing. But how do you show them in the best way possible? Go win the damn races.
That's right.
And that's why I get so jacked up when I win, because it's like my appreciation. And for all the hard work that everybody does here, that's the way I can show it. And then I try to show it with my emotion and explain it in the interviews and to anybody I truly talk to about, like, this is a big deal. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And more importantly, I'm grateful for the hard work, because everybody can, do just their job, or you got a team like here at Kaulig Racing where on the racetrack, there's a 10, there's an 11, there's a 16, and then there's our crew men and women that are on those cars at the racetrack. But there ain't no 10, 11, 16 in the race shop. All the cars are blank. Forget the numbers on the side of them.
Yeah.
All the cars are blank. Everybody works on every car. So every time we win, whether it's myself, Justin, and when Jeb wins this year, everybody's winning because everybody had a piece of that car that they worked on during the week. And that's truly what's amazing here.
So I'm curious, because a lot of teams say that. They're like, oh, it's a team sport. We're all pulling on the same rope. And that's true to a certain extent, but it just feels different with Kaulig. And you live that, and I understand that. But why is that the case? Why is that the case with Kaulig? Does it come from Matt? Does it come from Chris? Is it the drivers? Is it the team? Like, is it just a marriage of all of those things coming together? And now the team is finally hitting their stride, being in the series for a few years, understanding that they're perennial championship contenders. It just feels different at Kaulig. And it doesn't feel that way with the behemoth powerhouse teams that are in Cup and have Xfinity organizations, or even in Xfinity specifically. Why is Kaulig so unique in that respect, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with that. I mean, let's be quite honest. None of us would be here at Kaulig Racing if it wasn't for Matt Kaulig, right? That's pretty simple to say. Like, I mean, it's his energy and his passion and just his love of people that it starts with. And then on the day-to-day operations and having to deal with, it's Chris Rice that takes over and sets the culture, because it's Chris here every day doing all the dirty work, that when it comes to organizing the people, organizing the teams, the staff, everything that I can't even imagine that I ever want to be a part of and know about. Of setting the culture right. Because if really it started with Chris, if he came in here and said, you're the 10 car, you're the 11 car, and you're the 16 car, that's the culture immediately set for it. And that's how it runs. And that's how we all think. But it's not. And Chris has set the culture about, okay, no, it's a family. You're working on every car. And then with that, you got to bring in the right people that believe in that. If you bring in one person that's like, no, I don't believe in that, well, then you get that bad egg that just sets off the rest of the team. So It's about finding the right people that believe in it. Then it's about us as drivers to go out there and work together as great teammates. Because if you don't work together as great teammates, you show the people that, we don't care about your hard work on all these cars. We're in it for ourselves. That's why you see me so excited when Justin's leading and won at the super speedways, when Ross won at Daytona. And I'll be just as pumped when Jeb wins. I'll be tackling him in victory lane. Like it's if we don't set that culture as drivers to show what Chris has really proven, then we're messing it up. So it's on us as well. So it's all together that we make it the way it is.
It's a really great philosophy, and it's a refreshing one at that. When you see in NASCAR, it's a lot of the same stuff that you see, and a lot of PR, sponsor driven answers, but it just seems genuine at Kaulig. So I'm glad that they got you in the shop as well to help do that. And the philosophy is just really cool to see. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask a little bit about Daytona, and you mentioned it with Austin Cindric at the road course. I'm just curious, I think you and Austin both said after the race that it was a mistake, on both your parts. You would talk about it. So, did you guys hash things out? Did you go over what happened and what you guys can do to prevent that from happening in the future? Anything after that?
Yeah, we talked about it. I'll kind of leave that to us. But we both know where we stand. There's blame on both sides for sure. I gave my points of opinion of what pissed me off, and I understood, on his side of it as well. But yeah, you move forward and you race. I hope, and I told him this, I hope I have to race Austin Cindric a lot this year.
Yeah.
Because he's the champion, and he's probably going to be up front at a lot of them, probably at every race. Yeah. So I hope I have to race him a lot, because that means we're doing our job at Kaulig Racing So we set our piece, we move forward, and we go on.
I think you guys will be 1-2 at a few races here and there, flip flopping 1-2, but safe to say you guys will be racing around each other a fair amount, and hopefully into later stages of the season. I also want to ask AJ, when you look at the landscape of the Cup Series specifically, you've had your time there, you've had your success there, and it's no secret that Matt Kaulig wants to go Cup racing as soon as next year when the next gen car comes into the equation. I'm curious if that's on your radar at all. And I understand that you're focused on the here and the now in the Xfinity Series, going for this championship because, as cliche as it is, and as we've said, like, you owe it to the men and women at Kaulig Racing to do that. But it's also something that piques my interest, at least, to think about who Matt Kaulig and Kaulig Racing could potentially put in a full-time car if they want to go down that road in 2022. Have you given that any thought whatsoever? Is that even on your radar?
Honestly, no. I mean, we were able to do the Cup race at the Daytona Road Course, and I believe planned to try to run a lot of them. But we'll see kind of as the season progresses of where we're at on the Xfinity side of it.
Yeah,
that's obviously the most important thing. When it comes to Matt Kaulig and Kaulig Racing moving forward with Cup, that's definitely in the plans moving into 2022 is to try to make that happen, I believe. But on my side of it, it's not like I'm like, hey, please yes or please no. Like I just want to be part of Kaulig Racing for a while, whether I'm driving the car or not. Some of the most enjoyment that I'm having is trying to help the team progress, whether it's here at the shop or the setups or on the racetrack or whatever. So just being appreciative of Matt Kaulig and wanting to be a part of his organization in whatever way possible. So when it comes to, like, do I need to be a Cup driver in 2022 for Matt Kaulig? I haven't even asked the question. Like I take it every race one at a time. That's why you see me get out of the car and almost, in tears, because it means so much. It's true. Like you never know when the last race is going to happen and the last win and all of it. So in the past in my life, I've been so worried about, oh my God, what's going to happen next year? What's going to happen next week? Am I going to be here? I spent half my Cup life, like, it felt like hanging on to the wall and my nails dug in, just trying to stay in the sport. And God, it sucks to live that way.
Don't want that anymore.
It's horrendous to live like that.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to live like that anymore. I don't care. Like I do care, but like I don't like the future of me having to drive the car. Like it's not that big of a deal to me. Of course, I want to keep driving. I love it right now, but like I just love being a part of the organization, and that's my focus.
So conventional wisdom would suggest, and I'm sure you're probably aware of this, but 39, which is how old you are, that's the peak age for a NASCAR driver in today's day and age. So you're at your peak.
Yeah, I mean, there's some young guys right now. Chase Elliott might argue that right now. But
the peak will be going down.
Keep getting better. Yeah. So, but yeah, I do feel in a lot of this. I mean, a ton of this has to do with the Kaulig Racing equipment that I'm in, where I can go out there and compete up front and teach myself and learn. And but yeah, I feel like I'm at the best I've ever been outside the race car when it comes to trying to help the setups, trying to lead the guys of what I feel like the cars really need, and inside the car, doing what I need to do. But there's always room for improvement. We improve every day. The day we stop improving is the day we probably die. So it's about improving every day, but it's I'm having fun with it one day at a time, and I just leave it at that.
To the moon, as they say. Good that you're having fun. Last question for me is, do you have any concrete goals that you set out at the beginning of the year that you want to accomplish this year, whether that's in Xfinity or in your limited starts in Cup, or are you one of those guys that doesn't really set actually concrete goals and takes things week by week as they come?
I try not to set any goals. I mean, we know the ultimate goal, to try to win a championship, but this day and age of how the championship works, like, I don't want to say it's championship or bust or make the Final Four or bust, because you could win 12 races and have a string of 3 bad races at the wrong time during the year and not make it to the round of 8 or
saw it last
4.
year.
Yeah. So I don't want to set those goals. My goal truly for this team was keep improving, like keep getting better. Like where we started at the beginning of the year compared to where we ended last year, we're improving a lot. The cars are so fast. But at the same point, that does us no good to now 20 races in. Now we're slow because we can't figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And now we're heading into the playoffs and we don't have any momentum. So it's truly about moving forward, progressing. It's great to get a win early in the season, get that pressure off your shoulders, say, okay, we know we can do it. We're in the playoffs. We can just keep moving forward. So that's nice to have, but really it's just about improving and progressing and being better from the start of the year to the end of the year. And we've already, I truly feel like, are better from where we ended last year to where we started this year. And that's what it's all about.
He is Mr. Tickle's father. He is a Las Vegas Motor Speedway winner, and he was this week's guest on the pod. AJ Allmendinger, my man. Thank you for joining, and to Ryan Pistana, if you're listening, what's up, my man?
For sure. Thank you, man.